All right, starting with the gruesome murder and the story which unraveled earlier in the day with Mehroli police solving a 6-month-old case and arresting one Aaftab after he killed his living partner Shraddha, chopping her into pieces and disposing them of. They had fallen in love while working in Mumbai and came to Delhi after families opposed. He murdered her when she started forcing him for marriage. And detail after detail has emerged since morning. In this one, we are seeing pictures of the residence where the live-in couple were living. And the murder itself happened a few months back. And somehow Aaftab continued to dodge the cops till they caught up with him. Let's look at this walkthrough by Shravan Sen, bringing out details of the scene of crime and pieces together the story for us.
In fact, we're right now broadcasting from the residence where Aaftab and Shraddha were actually staying. This is the very place from the time that they shifted from Mumbai to Delhi, and thereafter they went for a vacation to Himachal, and for a brief period they were actually staying in a hotel, and finally had shifted to this particular place in Chhatarpur, which is on the outskirts of the national capital. Now this is the very place where the murder has actually taken place. Now just take a look at it. I'll give you a closer glimpse of the inside room where they were actually staying, where you can see the clothes that are on the clothes stand that is still there. Take a look at the flowers and the incense sticks that have been also kept on the table. Now, police sources essentially indicating, Deepthi, that these incense sticks that you are seeing right now were essentially used to try and mitigate the stench, because the murder took place on the 18th of May. They came in sometime on the 15th of May, and the murder took place immediately few days later. And the body, incidentally, was kept inside this particular house. Now, what we are picking up from the police is that there was a refrigerator that was kept inside this room. This refrigerator was actually bought from an electronics shop which is in the nearby area. We're told that it's Tilak Electronics from where the refrigerator was bought. And what is important to point out here is the fact that the body was essentially kept here for a couple of days. It took about 15 to 18 days for the body being disposed of. So what was he exactly doing? After the murder was committed, thereafter the body was perhaps cut into multiple parts. Police is indicating that there were roughly about 35 to 38 pieces of the body, and every day around 2 o'clock in the morning is when Aaftab was basically moving out. I'll try and give you a closer glimpse of it. If you just take a look at it, this is just roughly about 2 rooms that I can, from here, Deepthi, about 2 rooms is what we can spot. You can see the clothes all strewn all over the place. There are some bodybuilding equipments that have been kept inside the room, and this is the place where he was actually staying. Now, important to point out here is that even after the murder was committed, the sense that Aaftab essentially wanted to give was that everything was normal. In fact, he was basically sleeping in the same very room where the body was actually kept for several days inside the refrigerator. Important to point out here is the fact that he wanted to give that semblance that everything is normal, there's nothing abnormal about the situation, did not want to raise any sort of suspicion. So he was basically leading a very normal life. I'll just try and juxtapose that very picture. I'm assuming that it's already on air. If that is the case, then I'm just trying to just show you. This is the very place where the police was present when they came and carried out the searches, and the raid was basically carried out and found Aaftab at this very place from where the arrest has essentially taken place. Now, when did this actually happen? This happened on the 9th, where the Mumbai police team actually reached here in Delhi, in the national capital, when they received a complaint from Shraddha's father. We'll go to the details of that particular complaint. But what has happened is that if you take a look at it, or answering your question whether at all the neighbors were aware or not, here on the first floor is another family who's been staying. We did try actually speaking to them. They're not very comfortable speaking to them. But I'll also once again show you. This is the topmost floor of the building. There is a terrace atop here, and this was essentially frequently used by Aaftab, is what we are being told. But what was it used for? Not very sure at this point in time, because the murder took place sometime in May. They shifted here on 15th of May, and the murder took place on 18th. And if you take a look at this entire area, this entire area appears to be completely chock-a-block.